Hey, what's up, guys? Wanted to make a video today. Super bored. So wanted to just like kind of rant on the camera about some things that's going on. Um, uh, I've been kind of just doing what I have been doing the last couple of weeks, just binge watching a lot of videos on my mission to finish YouTube and finish Walking Dead and stuff like that. But I started to recognize a feeling that I get, like I used to get a lot more often, right? It's like a cousin of depression, but not really, you're not really like actually depressed and sad, but something that I want to share with you guys, and sometimes pretty uncomfortable to explain it, but I think if you guys listen in, you might be able to tell and recognize this kind of feeling or similar feelings like this when you get it. And basically, it's like this. Whenever you're doing things that are out of alignment, right? It's like not really aligned with what you want to do or be. It's a lot harder to stick to your routines. You'd realize that your willpower for everything from, your diet, let's say exercise, even, waking up and stuff is extremely difficult, right? Sometimes as entrepreneurs, what we take for granted is that underlying excitement of every week that unfolds, right? That's like, you take that for granted, but we forget that, normal, for the vast majority of people's lives, they don't have that much excitement. They live more for the weekend than the weekdays. And when you are growing a company, generally, whether you're doing a great job or a decent job, any of those is by far more excitement, just underlying constant, whether there's ups or downs or you're doing good or not, but the excitement is almost always there. And during periods like this, you begin to realize how it feels when the excitement is gone. And instead of trying to fight it, especially for a time like this, where personally I'm even unsure what to do, fighting it would be a lot of times like just trying to pick something and create a quick plan because something changed, and then like going for it without like really allowing yourself to take a step back and feel into the whole emotion of it. Instead of doing that during times like this, it's there's an opportunity to kind of tune in to what's really going on underneath, right? Why do we feel this kind of dissonance and slightly almost schizophrenic, where it seems a little surreal with everything that's going on. A good sign is this. Good sign is like every other day you're like changing what you want to have and be and do, right? Like you kind of all over the place, right? Instead of having a solid grounded holistic understanding, of like where you want to, where you're leading the company and what you want to do and everything, like all your goals and stuff like that, you're kind of having like switching back and forth in a very short amount of time, right? Like Mondays you might be thinking that, okay, all right, let me find out if I can really still sell during this time, and then like the next day or Wednesday you're like, maybe this is the opportunity for me to become like a investor and trader and stuff like that. Instead of trying to think of it as a right or wrong way, which generally is the beneficial way to go about it, right? I mean, generally you should pick one and stick to it, right? Generally, if you're jumping all over the place, you're always gonna win by sticking to one thing and focusing on it. You guys probably seen this play out even for me in this channel multiple times. Every time I go out of like, where I'm trying multiple things, nothing gets done. I just don't get anywhere. But during times like this, being able to just sit through and allow yourself to go through this time and let yourself kind of wonder, without judgment, is nice, is free, right? Is kind of you don't get to do that often. So you know, that's kind of that's the first point. Okay. The thing I want to mention is, like, going back to the how I started the video, is how to recognize this, because I think it's really important. We don't beat ourselves too much during this time, and like, you know, one of the things I mentioned is that a good sign is extreme you know, changing of goals and dreams in a short amount of time, right? Like day to day, you're just like kind of all over the place mentally. Another really good sign that I've recognized through years, and even before I started you know, the agency and everything, was when you are indulging yourself in whatever activity, your activity of choice of indulgence, you'll see that there's a very strong desire to be in the escape. So let me explain. Like during periods like this, like I was saying, like, you know, you can't, it's really difficult to stay grounded, right? Follow your diet, exercise, sleep, your routine, and, you know, just like be on track. And when you're not on track, you are doing stuff that's, you know, you're not on track, right? Let's say you're eating junk food. For me right now, I'm just binge watching stuff, right? That's like my way of indulgence. I don't want to stop. I don't want a period of time that I am not having some kind of bullshit just thrown at me, whether it be video games, like gameplays that I'm watching a lot of, or whether it be just like interviews of like all kinds of stuff, just binge watching, like, you know, like technology videos and stuff I like, right? Generally. The thing to notice is that I don't want a gap in it. So the perfect example would be, we're watching Walking Dead now, right? Like these days I'm like waking up pretty early still, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, and I watch YouTube videos until like 12, 1 o'clock. And after that, after lunch, we start watching Walking Dead until like 10 to 12 a.m. That's like been my routine, right? And the point is, when I'm watching Walking Dead, and you know, like the seasons are, you know, between episodes, right? Like episode finishes, and then, you know, the credits are coming up. You have to press next episode, and there's like an intro and stuff like that. Between that time, it hits me. It hits me really hard. Like very clearly that, okay, there's that feeling again where I don't know what to do. I'm lost and not sure what the next move is and how to go about the whole thing. And yeah, okay, the next episode, come on, start. Take my attention away again. That moment right there is very telling, because it gives insight into you know, what's really going on. So just wanted to bring significance to that little moment right there, because you don't get that much opportunity to do so. And what happens is, when you start slowing down from the indulgence, which I can feel the time is coming close, not yet. I didn't know this thing was like 10 seasons. It's taking a while to finish. But as it's slowing down, like as it's coming down, you know, it's been a couple of weeks and I've been just watching this stuff and not wanting to deal with any responsibility and whatnot, you see like the end is kind of coming, all right? Like in terms of like, you have to kind of be like, you know, you're coming to a point where you understand like, okay, right, how much longer am I going to be doing just only this? You know, I need to just like soon going to sit down and find out what to do, you know, what to like find out exactly what's going on and what's going to be the next step. You start to clear through, and when you give yourself that time to you know, really sit down and just be still as a person. A lot of times, the best way to do this is just, you know, set a pen and paper and just kind of write. Nowadays, I actually like get an audio tape. Like I just record and just like talk, and maybe the first 5 minutes would be like nothing. I'm like barely saying anything that makes sense. So then I would delete it and then start again. And if you do that, and you give yourself the time, you'd be surprised what comes out. Because when you get out of your own way, what else is there? If you know what I mean? I'm here with all my thoughts and you know, on my stuff. And right now the thoughts are very pressureful of trying to point me to pick a direction of what to do. And since it's a difficult decision, then I rather watch and binge watch Walking Dead than deal with these difficult thoughts and decisions. But as the indulgence slows down, because there's only so much chocolate you can eat, there's only so much videos you can watch until you start feeling kind of like a slob, like super slob. I mean, already feeling a slob, but you know, super slob. Then you kind of open up to go through those difficult thoughts. And when you are there at that stage, let's call it phase 2, and you get out of your own way, which is by like getting the initial thoughts just out of the way, and still giving yourself that time, like, hey, yeah, still let's go through with this and kind of think what's inside here. Eventually, what starts to flow out is deeper layers. That's what's there. There's nothing else. 100% of the time, want to get to know yourself. Things like this is the way, is one of the really good ways to start. Alone, comfortable alone, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's no answer. I mean, it's not an answer to this. The reason I wanted to just make the video is for any of you who's going through a similar time and can relate, understand that there's certain times where it clearly helps to not use your skills as an entrepreneur, what got you to where you are, which is things like brute force, willpower, following schedule, getting shit done. During things like this is one of the times where it's to allow yourself to be very open and first of all, go through indulgence, right? Go through a couple weeks of doing nothing and allowing yourself to do that. I was beating myself up a lot in the beginning stage, and then I was just like, whatever. And now I'm just like, the last 2 weeks, I'm just like, gave myself just do whatever. And now it's coming to a point where I'm almost getting fruits of not doing shit. You could say that. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. We're at 13 minutes. Yeah, I just wanted to share, this kind of phase and this kind of stage that you're going through. So hopefully, if it helps somebody out there, that's that. Peace.